Well, hello and welcome again to our reading of Iliad 1, and we are up to line 247, but I'll just quickly recap from 245. So at this stage, two of Agamemnon's henchmen have come to collect the girl from Achilles, and he's given orders to Patroclus to bring out the girl, and that's what happens now. So thus he spoke, and Patroclus obeyed his dear comrade, and he brought out the beautiful-cheeked Briseis from the tent, and gave them, Edoke, understand to them, again to lead away. And the two of them then, almost immediately, so the two of them then, this is a duel from Amy Ibo, the two of them went beside, so probably went back beside the ships of the Achaeans. And now we start the section from here. So Hey Gune and the woman Kien from Kio, this is an imperfect without augment, she went along with them, Ekusa, this is from Ekon, there is a participle hekon, and this is the negation of that, ahekon, so unwillingly. So she wasn't happy about going. So the woman went along with them unwillingly. Atar, often used as but it's quite a strong but. But Achilles, dakrusas, in tears, the main verb here is hedzeto, was sitting, afar, forthwith, so immediately. Nospi goes with the hetaron for hetaron, apart from his friends, and liastes is from liasdamai, means to go apart. So separating himself in tears, he sat immediately away from his comrades, so by himself. F for epi here, and you see by the accent that it's going with the word before it. So on the shore of the grey sea, and he was horoon, he was looking at the boundless ocean, the boundless poton, the boundless sea. And oregus, this is a participle from oregnumi. So oregnumi is the verb, and this is a participle. So stretching out his keras, his hands. Eresatot, from araamai, he prayed pola many times, or muchly, to his mother, or perhaps to his dear mother, or just to his mother. Philos is often just can be translated as his or her, depending on the context, used as an adjective. So his mother, or to his dear mother, if you will. Then he says, Meter, O mother, since Etekes from Tikto, this is the heiress from Tikto, you bore me, in fact, since you gave birth to me. Now, most translators take the pair here as in with the participle, although being minuthadion, short-lived. We get another pair down in the next line, and I've often thought perhaps the intention was that these are meant to balance each other, and hence the pair in the sense of peri, very much so. So one possible way of taking this is, since you bore me, being very much short-lived, then Olympian Zeus, the high thundering one, ought to engulixai, from engualizdo, to grant, so ought to have granted great honour to me, so making that peri, honour to me very much so. So taking both of these pairs here in the sense of very much, although most translators don't do that. So it's either since you bore me, although I am short-lived, or perhaps being very much short-lived, the Zeus, the high thundering one, he ought, the Olympian, he ought to have granted to me time, honour, or very much honour. But now, etesen me tuthon, he honours me not even tuthon a little bit. He does not even honour me a little bit. For indeed, Agamemnon, broad-ruling son of Atreus, Artimesen, has dishonoured me, from Artimao. For he holds my prize, Helone, participle from Hyreo, having taken her. Autos epauras, this is a participle here. He himself having deprived me of her, or he himself having taken her. He himself having deprived me. Now, of course, this is a slight overstatement, because he himself doesn't do it. It's in fact he sends two of the others to take the girl away, but he is crying out to his mother, and he's perhaps overstating his case a little bit. Hos vater dakruk heon, and thus he spoke, shedding a tear. And his lady mother, Eclue, was listening to him. Perhaps you could just say heard him, but it is an imperfect here. And she was Heimene, she was sitting in Benthesen, in the depths of the sea, beside her old father. This, of course, is Nereus, beside her old father. But Carpelimos, suddenly, an edu, from Anna plus Duno, she leapt up, she arose from the grey salt, that is the grey sea. Ute, this is a word meaning like to. It's quite common in Homer. So like to omikle, like to a mist. And kath edzeta, so she sat. The ra again is that, as you might expect, so it's very hard to translate and say just then, but it's got more of the sense of this is fitting, this is the appropriate thing to do, but it's very hard to translate into English. So she sat then paroithi, in front of him. Now this is a genitive here, our toyo, and we get keontos, genitive participle, of him as he was shedding dakru, a tear. The verb here is kataresdo, which is to soothe or perhaps caress. So she caressed, and she caressed min for out on him with her hand. She spoke a word and named him. Teknon, O my child, tiklaies, why do you weep? Ti is neuter, and it's going with penthos, which is also neuter. So what grief, hikatai, from hikneomai, has come, and it takes a double accusative here, has come upon you, and the phrenas is an internal accusative, or accusative of respect, so in your heart. Ex auda, this is imperative from ex auda, speak out. Me kuthe, again imperative, do not hide it, no in your mind. Hina, in order that, ampho, both of us. Now we get a dual here, but we get a plural verb. This often happens in Homer. In order that both of us might know. And Achilles, swift in respect to his foot, groaning deeply, he replied to her, Oyster, you know, ta, for why, why agoruo, why am I speaking, but probably for future here, why will I speak, or perhaps almost subjunctive, why ought I to speak these things, toi, to you, dative, and then we get a dative participle here, the perfect of oida. So this is that id root from oida, and the huie is the feminine participle. So why shall I speak these things to you who know all things? We came from oikomai into Thebe, the sacred city, or perhaps strong city. Great debates about exactly what hieros means, but perhaps strong city of Eetion. Now Eetion, of course, was the father of Andromache, and the story of the fall of this, of course, is in book 6. The strong city of Eetion. Dia Prathomen, we sacked it, and we took away Panta all things Enthadi here. And we'll continue this in the next video.